Council, thank you, for the grant to do this series of live streams. And I'm very, very grateful to live in a community that supports and appreciates the creatives in it. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. All
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah, so we are live on Facebook and YouTube, and you can see she's very far from the camera, and that's because we're doing a wide angle shot for her. We're going to be showing you this art project that she's working on, which is a big piece. But before we get into that, I wanted to say we are on Facebook and YouTube. If you're here, say hi, let us know where you're tuning in from, and I will make sure to read the comments to her and so she can get back to them in real time. This live stream is meant to be a live view into the artist's studio, something that you don't get anywhere else. And we sincerely hope you enjoy. And quick notes about we're really proud to announce that her memoir, Incandescence Rising Above Darkness, is celebrating its second edition. And I'm putting the cover of the first edition on the screen right here because I don't have the second edition right here. But it is linked down in the description of this video. She's actually got the second edition there with her. She'll show that to you later. So proud of her for that and that achievement of the second edition. Check it out now. Incandescence Rising Above Darkness. You can get it on all the online retailers, Amazon, or order it through your local bookstore. And then there is also the Patreon, Clare Cooley's Patreon, which is patreon.com/Clare Cooley. I'm showing you one of the stencil designs you get for free when you become a member. There are a bunch on there and more coming out soon. And we're going to be putting out all sorts of cool stuff on her Patreon. It's a really great way to support her work, be a patron of the arts, and you get a bunch of cool stuff. All right, that's that.
Thank you, Bodhi. I really appreciate that. Well, speaking of creativity, I'm wearing a stenciled flower. There's 18 for no additional cost to the Patreon members, or you can buy any one of them. I guess they're $3 or $4 a piece, or they come with the Patreon membership at no extra fee. Here's a scarf I did. I'm going to get a little closer to the camera for showing the flower and the scarf with all these warblers. Let's see if I can get
and
this.
Meg Letts says, Happy New Year. Excited to see and hear more about Claire's latest project.
So there's the warblers and wildflowers, and here's a flower. And this latest project, I'm going to be doing. Oh, thanks, Megs, for being here. And I love it when people comment, ask questions, make suggestions, just say hi. I call these virtual visits a way we can connect with and walk lightly on the planet, not having to drive or fly or go anywhere, efficient and ecological. So these 7 scroll hanging, I call it a movable mural, is going to go up on our back stairs. And today I'm going to talk about the artistic process that I go through. Everybody has their own way, but we can learn from each other. And so I'm going to be sharing the way I do it. So the way I do it is I give myself permission to create whatever I'd like to have in my life that I can. Very good. Would you close that door and maybe the curtains behind you?
Can you hear me through the laptop?
Oh, I don't know. So leave it slightly ajar and and the curtains behind you kind of bright you out there.
All right, one moment. So, Rhett
Yes.
Abramson, how you doing, Rhett? Said, hi, Claire and Bodie. Happy New Year. Congratulations on the second edition of your book.
Thank you, Rhett. Nice that you're here. Happy New Year. May this be a great year for all of you out there, Rhett and Meg and anybody else that's tuned in or sees this later. They do go up on the Creativity Show, my YouTube channel, later if you can't be here Monday, Thursday at noon. So this series that I got this latest grant for is going to be these 7 scroll paintings. And what I do is when I have a place, an area that I want to give some life to, some artistry, some magic of creativity, like this back staircase, as economical as it could possibly be, this piece of giclée paper with quarter round dowel glued at the top and bottom, and a piece of monofilament thread and a little tiny nail. It's a painting that's already got a way to hang it. So I love to be economical and ecological in the way I live and create. So this back stairs is going to get this 7 series. Bodie, would you show the little quick video you did of them hanging before they're painted up in that area? Okay, so that video started on the 3rd floor where creativity coaching clients can stay while I'm helping them connect with their imaginations and their confidence to express them creatively. I heard the bell.
Got a few comments. I'll get through. So
Yeah.
Meg Litz said, those stencils are beautiful. I'm consistently inspired by your use of space to create.
Thank you, Meg. Really happy to hear that. I appreciate it, and Happy New Year to you.
And Joni B on YouTube said, good afternoon. I'm excited to see this large piece of art. What inspired you to create this new piece?
Well, thank you for asking that question. And the inspiration is that I like to use whatever I have to make my life more what I want it to be each day. And stepping into creative flow increases our happiness, medically documented. So I had that space that didn't have any magic in it, no story down those back stairs. And this giclée paper was donated to me. So put the space that's open for some magical art and the resource that was donated to the Emerald Lady together. And that's where this, and then the third influence on this is Sue Spencer suggesting a mural. So this is a movable mural. Instead of painting on the wall, it's going to go down the stairs, and it could move later if I chose to. I like to keep it flexible in life, so a movable mural works for the way I like to do things. So today I'm going to talk about how I arrive at the attitudes and the the ritual of creating, so that hopefully some part of it will help you give yourself permission to express yourself. And so let me first read the attitudes that I think are extremely important through a lifetime of being an artist. Yes.
And on Facebook, Bianca Cortez, how you doing? Hi, Bodie and Claire. Your mama is as beautiful as ever. Oh, shucks. I love watching her and her artwork. She inspires me. Wishing you 12 months of success, 52 weeks of laughter, 365 days of fun, 8,760 hours of joy, 525,600 minutes of good luck, and 31,536,000 seconds of happiness. Happy New Year.
Wow. Thank you. I got chills.
I love it.
I love that breakdown of how many moments we have in a year to fill with joy and appreciation. Thank you, Bianca. That's really lovely. And I'm definitely that's gonna be fuel for some more creative sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks so much, Bianca. Great to see you.
So back to a few attitudes I wrote down this morning, so I don't miss any. Let me just read my list. Give yourself permission to enjoy the process of creating. That is why kids are so creative. Having taught every grade level at different school every week in my 20s here in Duluth, I got to see what happens, what I call perceptual rigidity, people starting to lock down, and the older they get, often the more locked down they get, and it isn't necessary. We can free ourselves and enjoy the process, not avoid judging the creation by any other measure. Allow only those who encourage us to have a say in what we do. And there's a lot of unhappy, bitter, jealous, angry, frustrated, all that negative stuff people, and they will often try to lock us down because they feel locked down. So just don't let them, let it pass by you if they say something, which will and does happen. So only let those who want you to be happy and encourage you have a say in what you do and how you feel about it once you've done it. Learning is a great reason to do art or to do anything. And it can be that the process is as important as the product, meaning when we step into creative reverie, we're at peace, we increase our happiness, we express emotions, we stimulate our immune system, it's healing, it's healthy, it's happy making. That's a good enough reason right there. So don't judge it, the outcome of the creative expression, by any other means than it's good for us to do it. Being in creative reverie does increase our happiness. So keep challenging and expanding your own creative resourcefulness by trying new things. And it's not fair or reasonable, realistic to judge something we've never done before. If we're trying new things, we couldn't possibly be great at it from the very beginning. So be self-loving, enjoy trying new things and getting better, learning things, and be patient and enjoy expanding your creative confidence by doing so. We cannot know what will inspire us or fulfill us until we try it. So don't talk yourself out of trying new things. If you get an inspiration, and unless it's dangerous or too expensive or some other reason that I can't know about, give yourself permission to try it. Joni, I really appreciated when you said to me that you get ideas out of the box and then you don't tear yourself down, and you give yourself permission to try it. And that is what I feel like my tough upbringing and perhaps what other people might even describe as neglect of not going to school and not having a family that noticed what I was doing or not doing, gave me this beautiful opportunity to find what gave me peace, joy, happiness, and that is creative expression. Also to connect with what inspires me, nature, and to live a life with, the flowers and the warblers that you saw on the scarf, and my book of cranes across the top of the fireplace there. And my memoir has 68 pieces of art inspired by nature. It's my source of inspiration. Yes, I hear the bell.
We've got the comment bell. So on YouTube, Cat Avocado said, "How do you know when what you created is a product you can sell? I love my work, but how do I know it will sell?" Good
That,
question.
that's a great question, and I'm really glad you asked it, because one of the things that's very important to me is that I decided very young in life that I was going to go for purpose, not prosperity first. Now, I've never borrowed money to live, and I raised my two nephews by myself without any economic help from anyone else in the family. So I've had bills like everyone else, but I don't put money before fulfillment, before purpose. So I do the amount of work, or did the amount of work, whatever it was, to pay my bills, to feed my nephews when I was their guardian, and take care of my mother when she also lived with me. But I didn't go for money first, and I still don't. And so I do art that moves me, that I also think um, could move others, is what I share. Did I hear the bell? Okay. So as far as knowing what other people will pay for, you don't know until they do. And then you don't know until the check clears that it's good. But in the beginning of painting and drawing and doing uh, visual art, I hung my art in a number of restaurants, cafes, fancy places, coffee shops. Some of them I was a waitress in, and I would listen to people reacting to my work, and I would pay attention to what they said. And the most common thing I heard was peaceful, my art. And I thought, wow, that's a beautiful thing to contribute to this world. So I also went to New York when I was 30, and I left my portfolio with an art agent who actually had been Andrew Wyeth's agent, and with gallery owners who hadn't met me, so they couldn't like me or not like me or care, to see if it was business viable. And the response is yes, people like peaceful nature, but in big cities, galleries are afraid to show peaceful nature. As one gallery owner told me in San Francisco, that she couldn't sell serene nature. And I'm like, why? And she said, I don't know. And I said, you're the only gallery that even tries. And she said, so I'd be the one that knows that I can't sell it. And I said, well, I have a theory. And she said, what is it? And I said, people in big cities, big metropolitan areas like New York and San Francisco and such, they don't want to be reminded of what they've forsaken, which is often nature. She said, that's as good a theory as I've ever heard. So sometimes, even if we do good work that moves people, that increases the peace in their life, it still may not be something galleries or agents want to market. Don't judge yourself by their standards. Try to find the people that appreciate what you do and a way to get to them, for sure. But do what gives you joy. We all have financial obligations, responsibilities. Meet them. I always painted houses, worked on the boats with the longshoremen, was a janitor, cleaned houses, waitress, taught, all kinds of other things to pay the bills. But my love is doing creativity. So I do that for love, and I do what I have to for money. And I am now very fortunate and being repaid for believing in myself and the worth of my own work and making it something other people can buy in prints and stationery, poster, book, making economical ways, not just high-priced original work, but multiples, scalable business. I am repaid at this point in my life, and I don't have to do other things to make my bills. I also have always lived a frugal life so I could afford to be an artist. So I know that was a big answer, but it's a big question. And it is my opinion, my son knows I say this a lot, that the worship of money is terrible effect on the world. Money should not be worshipped. It's a currency that should flow through our lives, and it would be really good if it flowed through everybody's lives, not extraordinary amounts through a few people and trickling and none in the people at the bottom, but that it was more equal access to it. But it does not make us happy. I've known very wealthy people. I've known people born into great wealth, trust funders, and they were unhappy people. And I've known very poor people, well, myself, I've been homeless. I've had no money whatsoever in my youth. And I was happy and healthy. So it's not money that gives us happiness or security. What gives us security is love and imagination, creative resourcefulness. So there you go. So I'm going to go back to talking about, there's an area in my house I wanted to fill in with a beautiful artistic story. So these 7 scroll paintings will go there. And then the next thing I do is, what is the need to fill there? I want to have something interesting and that tells a story and gives some life to that area. And so that's the purpose. And so the theme is going to be the 4 seasons. So at the top of the stairs, it's going to be winter, then autumn, summer, and spring. And then the style is going to be Sumi brushstroke, which on Monday I'm going to start painting this in front of the camera, and I'm going to hopefully create all 7 of them in this 10 series live streams. So Monday I'll begin the painting, and hopefully 9 live streams later, Mondays, Thursdays at noon, I will complete this. Sumi brushstroke was my first visual expression in art. Before that, it was dance and my bamboo flute and writing and designing spaces and such. But I did Sumi brushstroke because it was so meditative. and very, well, serenity increasing. And so now I'm going to go back to that beginning and use the Sumi ink and do a stylized, I guess, my own stylized version of mountains coming into waterfall, coming into rolling hills, coming into a small lake. Yes.
All right, we got a few in here. So we got Meg saying peaceful and graceful are quite apt. So much wisdom. And then reading a few more here. Bianca said, "What kind of medium will you be using?" And then she just asked, "Explain Sumi ink."
All right. Well, starting Monday, I'm going to show you the whole process. And Sumi ink is a very ancient, one of the oldest mediums. It's originally made out of deer hoof and ink, the soot from candles or lanterns. I don't know for certain that that's still how it's made, but I think so. And the Sumi ink is in a stick and on a stone called a suzuri with a little bit of water, you rub the stick and this beautiful circular pattern that is meditative, and it creates the ink. And then with the bamboo brushes, so I'm going to show you all that starting on Monday, how to mix the ink, get the right consistency, the right shade, test your brush, and then begin to apply it. Under these 7, I have a piece of plastic so that I don't go through, there's a Sumi stick right there, I don't go through and mark up our floors that we refinished ourselves. If you want to see the video of Bodhi and I restoring the Emerald Lady, it's called Polishing the Emerald Lady, and that's on on the Creativity Show YouTube channel, isn't it? Or is it?
I will put the link to our video of restoring our
Anyhow, so I don't get.
122-year-old house. She can't hear me in there.
Huh?
She, I was letting them know you can't hear me in there very well because we're in different rooms.
Right. So anyway, protect your floors. We sanded them and shellacked them ourselves. We didn't hire a single contractor to restore this 120-something-year-old house. We did it ourselves, which is part of the reason we can afford to be full-time artists, because we do as much as we can for ourselves and live as frugal a life as possible. And the wealth that I feel is through creative expression, that and getting to do what inspires me and share what fulfills me with you guys. So I'm going to show you how to mix the suzuri, the Sumi ink on the suzuri, and how to paint the landscapes. And after deciding where I have a place or a need, like a gift for someone that I want to create something, then I decide what is the story it tells, the theme, the style, and then what are the design elements. So besides the 4 seasons, mountains, and waterfall, fields, and woods with a pond, then I'm also going to include on these 7 panels, 7 different animals. And I've done sketches for the moose and the wolf and the stag and the rabbit and the fox and the turtle and the egret and heron and crane and owl. So they'll all be in these too, all those animals. And those designs will also turn into SVGs for putting up on Patreon for stencils for my Patreon members for no extra fee. Yes.
Meg Litz said, "Ooh, I love that. How meditative this technique is on many levels." Are you able to hear me out there?
I hear it echoing, so it's kind of hard to tell what you're saying.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Yes. Yeah, so it's better.
Meg said Sumi E is very meditative.
Yes, it is. And thank you, Meg, for saying that and reflecting that back to us. I started doing it as a meditation, and in fact, for I think 9 months, everything I did on newsprint, on recycled paper, I didn't think of as art pieces. I thought of it as a meditation. And also on Monday, when I sit and on the floor, which is where I think it's a great place to work. You can work on a desktop, but the movement and also sitting in a way that you can breathe through the stroke and your whole body moves with the brush gives a fluidity, a grace to the line. And that's how I started with Sumi, and all these years later, I'm going to be doing that again, which is kind of an adventure, which is another thing I like to do with art, is make a decision that I'm going to start this with Sumi ink. And I'm going to have these animals in it, and it's going to be a story of the 4 seasons, and the animals that, for me, represent the 4 seasons. And whether I put color in it, whether I use watercolor, colored pencil, whatever else might happen, I will discover as I go. I like to do art as if it's going on a trip that someplace I've never been before. I like to know what I should pack, what is the surface or the area that I'm going to create in, what is the main mission for the work, to have something in that staircase that's delightful, and what is the theme, the 4 seasons and the animals that depict it, and then see where it takes me. So I don't know before I start, and this is my process, and everybody's can have a different process. My process is to go on it like it's an adventure somewhere I've never been before. So how these will end up, I'll discover as I'm sharing it with you. The process will reveal what's next. I like to say, for me with creativity, all I need to know is what's the purpose, to create something delightful in that staircase, and what's the next step after creating the 7 panels, deciding how to begin, and what's the theme, the 4 seasons, the maybe 11 different creatures, and Sumi. So the Sumi will start with the mountains, the waterfall, the fields, the woods, the pond, and then I'll see where I want to go with the animals that I have been drawing, because I never did a moose before, a wolf. So I'm doing things I've never done before. Every time I create, that's what excites me. It challenges me, and I'm learning something. So that, the attitudes that I read, I live by. I don't just suggest them for others. I try to live by them, which is learning is a good reason to do it. Expand into something you've never tried before. Challenge yourself. There isn't a word in the English language for a, completing a challenge other languages have a word for that. We need a word for that. Um, and it's such a great feeling. Yes.
I love this bell. It's very creative, which suits this talk. Um, so Joni on YouTube said, "I want." Oops, sorry, I dropped the bell.
Those Tibetan bells.
Oops.
Yeah.
She said she watched a video about how they make sumi ink in Japan, and they actually use their feet to create the ink.
Wow.
Handmade and foot made too.
Wow. Send me a link or a title for that, Joni. I'd love to see it. That sounds so appropriate. And did you know if it was made out of hoof and soot still? Is that how the ingredients?
I'll look it up.
Okay.
Miglet said it looks like yoga or it's like yoga and Tai Chi, very good for getting into the flow.
Absolutely. I like to call it floga. What I do before creating is try to do some moving. I dress kind of fancy today, but before I start on Monday, I'm going to do a little of the floga, which is just up from the ground up and back down to ground me and to move everything, have the energy flow through me, through the brush, through the sumi ink onto the surface.
So it says ingredients: soot, animal glue, water, and sometimes incense to improve the smell.
Right. So animal glue is made from the hoofs. So yes, the way they made soot from the inside of a container where a lamp, where that collects, they clean that off, and then the hoof that you can't eat of the animal that you can make glue out of, or I guess binder for the soot, and then the incense, if they use that to not have it be a funky smell. So the ancient ingredients is still how they make it. And I have to acknowledge that I love ancient stuff. My instrument, musical instrument, is a bamboo flute. And a flute made from the bone of a crane, which was my first published work, the Book of Cranes. The kind of the theme of my art is cranes, because they fly, they sing, they dance, they've been here uh, basically since the dinosaurs, a form that evolved into cranes anyway. Um, so I love the ancient, and I think at one point I saw this, I don't know if it's still true, the oldest instrument ever discovered was a flute made from the bone of a crane. So I have an attraction to ancient origins of creativity, and in this modern world, I'm still most attracted to the stuff that goes the furthest back. So there we go. So I'm very excited to begin this. I get excited like a kid gonna go to the circus or something when I got it all laid out and I get to start painting, or drawing, or playing the flute, or dancing, or writing, or whatever the creative expression, designing a space, decor, it doesn't matter. I like every form of creativity, and I like interweaving them and making and doing as much as I can in my own life. Yes.
Bianca said, "Thank you so much for both of your time and knowledge. I have to get going. Wish I could stay. Sending lots of love. Happy New Year."
Thank you, Bianca, and Happy New Year to you. And I love your message. That was really sweet and wonderful. And so Monday, I'm going to start the painting at noon. And in the next 9 sessions, I'm hoping that these 7 movable mural scrolls come together before your eyes, and we'll see what happens. We're going on a creative adventure together. So thanks for being here, and thanks for saying stuff and contributing and asking questions, making comments. I really appreciate it. And thank you, ARAC, for the grant to do these live streams. I'm really grateful, and I love living in a place where people appreciate the creativity around them and the source of inspiration of nature. Our inland sea and all the nature around us is very, very inspirational. So these 11 animals I'm going to put in these will turn into stencil designs, as well as the warblers and wildflowers you saw on the scarf. They're going to start coming out on the Patreon now. We've had some catch up to do over the holidays, but now I get to get back into that and add to the 18 flowers that are already on there, the 26 warblers and wildflowers, and I have 300 stencil designs, and I'm making more. So eventually they'll all be out at no extra fee for Patreon members. So thanks for being here, and see you Monday at noon. Thanks for your help, Bodhi. Is there anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Happy to help. Great to say hi to all you guys. Thanks everybody who sent in comments. It's really cool to check in with you all. And cool, I'm excited to see this work of art come together. It's really unique. Diagonal, 7 pieces. Really crazy. Fun.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Bodhi. See you on Monday at noon.
Bye, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.